Porridge, 1974 to 1977, one of Britain's most beloved classic sitcoms, brought laughter and heart to millions during its iconic run. But have you ever wondered what happened to the unforgettable cast behind the bars of Slade Prison? In this special video, we take a nostalgic journey back to the 70s and reveal how the stars of Porridge have changed over the decades, and where they are now in 2025. Some stories will surprise you, others may move you, but all will remind you why this show remains timeless. Hit play and discover the then and now transformation of the cast who made Porridge a true television treasure. Ronnie Barker, who portrayed Norman Stanley Fletcher in Porridge, was 44 years old when he took on the role of the sharp-witted, street-smart inmate known for outsmarting prison staff with his dry humor and wisdom. The role became iconic, cementing Barker's place in British comedy history. However, after the series ended, Barker struggled with the pressure of living up to his comedic legend. He became increasingly reclusive, battling periods of depression and anxiety. Barker was married to Joy Tubb, with whom he had 3 children, Larry, Adam, and Charlotte. Though the marriage endured, it was marked by long periods of emotional distance due to his focus on work and later health issues. He was particularly devastated when his son Adam faced legal troubles in the 2000s. Barker suffered from heart problems in his later years and lived modestly in Oxfordshire, preferring solitude. His net worth at the time of his passing in 2005 was estimated at £3 million, though much was spent on medical care and charitable donations. He died of heart failure at the age of 76, remembered fondly but privately mourned due to his retreat from public life. Brian Wilde, who played the kind-hearted and nervous Mr. Barrowclough, was 45 years old when he portrayed the sympathetic prison officer in Porridge. His gentle demeanor and awkward presence added a soft balance to the harsher aspects of prison life on screen. Off-screen, Wilde's life was far more complicated. He married Eva Stewart in the 1950s, and they had 2 children, Andrew and Sarah. The couple had a tumultuous relationship, marked by long separations and unresolved disputes. Andrew's struggles with addiction further strained the family dynamic. After Porridge, Wilde attempted to continue acting, but health issues and poor management led to financial instability and infrequent roles. Wilde suffered a major stroke in the early 2000s and spent his final years in seclusion, plagued by regret over his personal choices. Despite his reputation as a warm-hearted man, his final days were lonely. He died in 2008 at the age of 80 due to complications from a fall. His estate, once modestly comfortable, had dwindled to under £250,000 by the time of his passing. Fulton Mackay, remembered for his portrayal of the stern, no-nonsense Mr. Mackay, was 51 years old when he played the role. He brought intensity and rigidity to the part, becoming a symbol of tough institutional authority. Off-camera, Mackay's personal life was marked by disappointment. He was married to Sheila Manahan, an Irish actress, but their marriage was reportedly strained by long absences and unfulfilled dreams of having children. After Porridge, Mackay found limited success in roles that truly resonated with audiences, leading to career frustration. He suffered from chronic health problems, including liver disease, which affected his performance opportunities. His passion for marine conservation brought him peace, though it was also an escape from the sadness of his declining health and fading fame. Fulton Mackay died in 1987 at age 64 from stomach cancer. His modest estate was valued at just over £200,000, a reflection of a career filled with critical praise but little financial reward. Richard Beckinsale, the charming and innocent Lenny Godbeer, was just 27 when he stepped into the role of the young, hopeful inmate eager for a better future. Beckinsale quickly became a fan favorite, but his bright future was tragically cut short. Off-screen, he married actress Judy Lowe, and they had a daughter, Kate Beckinsale, who would later become a successful actress. However, his marriage was brief, and rumors of affairs and emotional turmoil plagued their time together. Despite his rising fame, Beckinsale suffered from anxiety and overwork. He was juggling multiple projects when he died suddenly of a heart attack in 1979 at only 31. Friends reported that he had complained of chest pains for weeks but dismissed them due to his youth. His untimely death shocked the industry and devastated his family. At the time of his passing, his estate was valued at approximately £400,000, much of it left to support his daughter. He remains a beloved figure, frozen in time as a symbol of unrealized potential. Sam Kelly, who played Warren, the anxious and socially awkward inmate, was 31 years old during his time on Porridge. Known for bringing pathos and humanity to a minor role, Kelly's later life was marked by personal hardships. He never married and remained largely private, but close friends described a series of unfulfilled romantic relationships and a persistent sense of loneliness. Kelly found consistent work in theater, but he often lamented never finding the same success on screen. Financially, he lived modestly and struggled in the early 1990s due to poor health and unpaid medical bills. Diagnosed with cancer in his later years, he spent his final days in hospice care, surrounded by only a few close companions. Kelly passed away in 2014 at the age of 70. His estate was modest, estimated at around £100,000, much of which went to medical expenses and small charitable donations to animal welfare, one of his lifelong passions. Tony Osoba, who portrayed the fiery and defiant inmate McLaren in Porridge, was 27 years old when he took on the role. His character, a young black Scottish man frequently at odds with authority, was groundbreaking at the time and brought Osoba into the public spotlight. Despite early promise, his post-Porridge career faced significant barriers, with typecasting and a lack of diverse roles slowing his momentum. Osoba married fellow actress Elaine Henry, but the marriage ended in divorce after just 6 years, marked by long separations and disagreements about priorities. He wanted a family, she sought independence. They had one son, Marcus, with whom Osoba has had an on-and-off relationship due to years of absence during the boy's upbringing. Now 78, Osoba continues to take minor roles in television and theater, though his earnings have diminished significantly. Living quietly in Glasgow, he remains active in local arts initiatives but battles with recurring depression and financial insecurity. His current net worth is estimated at just £80,000, largely in the form of a pension and residuals, with much of his savings depleted by health costs and a failed business venture in the 1990s. Michael Barrington, who played the well-meaning but clueless Governor Venables, was 49 years old when he appeared in Porridge. His depiction of the bumbling prison head brought comedic relief to the series. Off-screen, Barrington struggled to find lasting success. Following Porridge, his career stagnated, with only a few scattered television appearances. He was married to stage actress Margaret Linton, but the couple faced a devastating miscarriage and were never able to have children. The emotional fallout contributed to their eventual divorce in 1984. Barrington became increasingly isolated, battling alcoholism and financial woes. He was forced to sell his London home in the mid-1980s and move into a small rented flat. Suffering from undiagnosed cancer, he passed away in 1988 at the age of 63, largely forgotten by the public. His estate, once moderately comfortable, was reduced to less than £50,000. He died with no close family and was buried in a quiet ceremony attended by a handful of former colleagues. Christopher Biggins, who portrayed the gentle, effeminate inmate Lukewarm, was just 25 years old in 1974. The role was ahead of its time, and Biggins's performance was praised for its warmth and humor. Off-screen, Biggins enjoyed a more visible career than many of his Porridge co-stars, appearing in pantomimes and reality television. Despite the public persona of Cheer, his personal life has had turbulence. Biggins came out publicly as gay in the 1990s and entered a civil partnership with partner Neil Sinclair. Though the relationship has endured, they have no children, and Biggins has spoken openly about the loneliness he sometimes feels. He was once the victim of a severe hate crime in the 1980s that left emotional scars. A near bankruptcy in the early 2000s due to failed investments also took a toll. Now 76, Biggins remains active on television and at fan conventions. His current net worth is estimated at £500,000, down from over £2 million due to medical expenses and losses from bad financial advice. David Jason, who portrayed the elderly inmate Blanco in the later episodes of Porridge, was 35 at the time despite playing a much older man. Known best for his later work in Only Fools and Horses, Jason's stint on Porridge showcased his range. Off-screen, Jason has lived a life filled with both triumph and tragedy. He married longtime partner Gil Hinchcliffe in 2005, and they had one daughter, Sophie May. Before that, he was in a lengthy relationship with actress Mfanwi Talig, who died of breast cancer in 1995, leaving Jason devastated for years. He never fully recovered from her loss and has struggled with bouts of depression and anxiety, particularly in the wake of fame. Despite a successful career, Jason has faced criticism for reclusive behavior and strained relations with co-stars. Now 85, he lives in a quiet part of Oxfordshire. His current net worth is around £6 million, though he rarely makes public appearances anymore, and has distanced himself from the industry. Ronald Lacey, who portrayed the sly and sneaky inmate Harris, was 42 years old in 1977. Known for his unsettling on-screen presence, Lacey later gained international fame as the villainous Toad in Raiders of the Lost Arkansas. But personal demons haunted him. He married twice, first to actress Mela White, with whom he had 2 children, Rebecca and Jonathan. That marriage ended in divorce, and Lacey remarried, but that union also crumbled amid infidelity and drinking problems. Lacey battled severe health issues, including liver damage and obesity, much of it worsened by years of substance abuse. His daughter Rebecca later spoke about how emotionally distant he became during her childhood. Lacey died in 1991 from liver failure related to liver cancer at the age of 55. At the time of his death, his estate was valued at approximately £300,000, much of which was left to his children. Though remembered as a talented actor, his personal life was marked by regret and estrangement. Dudley Sutton, who portrayed the brooding inmate Reg Irwin in Porridge, was 43 years old in 1976. Known for his rebellious energy and commanding screen presence, Sutton brought a darker, more intense edge to the series. After Porridge, his career drifted between critically acclaimed stage roles and sporadic television appearances, never quite achieving the mainstream success he craved. He married American painter Marjorie Steele in the late 1960s, but their marriage was short-lived and marred by addiction and emotional volatility. They had one son, Peter, whom Sutton rarely saw after the divorce. He struggled with alcoholism for decades and was periodically homeless in the 1980s, sleeping on friends' sofas while attempting to revive his career. Though he had brief romantic relationships in later years, none lasted. Diagnosed with cancer in early 2018, Sutton passed away on September 15 of that year at age 85. His funeral was attended by a small circle of theater colleagues. His estate was modest, reportedly worth less than £100,000, having been whittled away by years of erratic employment and personal hardship. Aylin Armstrong, who played the gruff and cynical inmate Spraggan, was 31 years old in 1977. A character actor known for his intensity and expressive face, Armstrong brought gritty realism to the prison setting. Though he later gained recognition in works like New Tricks and Little Dorrit, his early career was riddled with rejection and underappreciation. Armstrong married co-star Sue Bairstow in the early 1980s, and together they had 3 sons, Joe, Dan, and Tom. While Joe would follow in his father's footsteps as an actor, their relationship has been strained by Aylin's frequent absences and strict parenting. The marriage survived multiple near breakdowns and counseling attempts, but the couple now live largely separate lives. Armstrong has openly struggled with depression, particularly after the death of his brother in the early 2000s and a period of financial insecurity that forced him to return to theater work well into his 70s. Now 79, he lives quietly in Northumberland. His current net worth is estimated around £400,000, primarily tied to property and pensions. Graham Crowden, who portrayed the eccentric prison doctor, was 52 years old in 1975. With his tall, gaunt appearance and distinct voice, Crowden was well suited to the role of the detached medical officer. Despite a successful career in character roles, Crowden remained on the fringes of stardom. He married actress Phillida Hewitt in the 1950s, and they had 4 children, though 2 of them became estranged from him due to his often cold and distracted demeanor. Known for his biting wit, Crowden alienated many in the industry, and his stubborn refusal to adapt to television trends hurt his career prospects. He turned down the role of the 4th Doctor in Doctor Who, a decision he later regretted deeply. After a fall in 2008 left him largely immobile, Crowden spent his final years in a care home in Edinburgh. He passed away on October 19, 2010, at age 87. His estate was valued at approximately £200,000, much of which was divided among his children, though legal disputes over inheritance persisted for years. Philip Maddock, who played the calculating inmate Williams, was 41 years old in 1975. Maddock brought a cold intelligence to the role that made his character both unsettling and unforgettable. Outside of Porridge, he had a steady but unremarkable career, with frequent roles in war dramas and Shakespearean theatre. His personal life was riddled with loss. He married Welsh singer Ruth Maddock, with whom he had 2 children, Rhys and Lowry. The marriage ended in a bitter divorce in 1981, fueled by conflicting ambitions and rumors of infidelity. Following the split, Maddock withdrew from public life and became increasingly isolated. He battled chronic illness for the last decade of his life and was forced to sell his home to cover medical expenses. He died on March 5, 2012, at the age of 77, from complications related to cancer. At the time of his death, his estate was worth approximately £90,000. Estranged from one of his children and estranged from his ex-wife, his funeral was a subdued affair attended by only close friends and colleagues. Who is your favorite character from Porridge? How does it feel knowing that some of the actors are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for your support.